Okay. Hello, a very warm welcome everyone for our second episode of In Conversation with Jyoti. Before we begin, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Jyoti Sandhu. I am an education coordinator and member of Bedi Foundation. I'm also the host of this series, and the intention behind this series is to keep our trustees, our donors, and our sponsors up to date about the education projects being conducted by us in Government Girls Senior Secondary School in Dera Baba Nanak. We have a very interesting conversation lined up today with two wonderful students and research analysts, Aditya Jain and Anurag. They are from SP Jain Institute of Management and Research. For their course of development of corporate citizenship, they did a project called Need Analysis for Girl Child Empowerment in Dera Baba Nanak, which was done in association with Bedi Foundation. Before we begin our conversation with Aditya and Anurag, I want to briefly introduce Bedi Foundation to you. Bedi Foundation is a charitable trust established by late Baba Pritpal Singh Bedi, son of late Baba Ram Singh Bedi of Mulk Raj Mohalla, Dera Baba Nanak. The family is known as Kilewale Bedis, and the trust is now managed by the grandchildren of late Baba Ram Singh Bedi. The managing trustee is Tikka Brijinder Singh Bedi, and the executive trustee is Major retired Rupinder Singh Bedi. The foundation is executing several charity projects in Dera Baba Nanak, where lie the roots of the Kilewale Bedis. Now, without any further delay, let's begin our conversation with Aditya and Anurag. A very warm welcome, Aditya, and a very warm welcome, Anurag, to our second episode.
Thank you.
Yes. So before we start talking about the study that you guys conducted in DBN, I would like to first know from you, Aditya, as to where did this idea of doing this study come from, and how did you connect with Bedi Foundation?
Okay. So what happens is, as you mentioned, that we are from SPJMR, and we completed our MBA from there. And as part of our curriculum, we have a development of corporate citizenship course, wherein we get this opportunity to work in the social sector along with NGOs like Bedi Foundation, and work for some social cause and helps society. So what this course does is it just not only first of all, it helps in trying to understand how do you go about unstructured problems, because when you are working in social sector, you are working in a way where it is not defined what your matrix are, what you want to deliver. You are just given a problem, and you have to understand the entire problem and then come up with some solution. So in those terms it helps. And also, secondly, on major aspect is how it helps us not only to get out and become a business leader, but become a business leader with a kind of social cause in mind. Like, you understand empathy, how empathy is important, and how it takes a major role while taking decisions, and how your decisions impact even the last end point in the chain. So as part of this course, we connected with Bedi Foundation, and we took a 1 month live project kind of at Dera Baba Nanak to understand the need analysis, skill gap analysis at the region.
All right. Anurag, can you tell me briefly about this project and what was it all about? Anurag, can you hear me? Okay, I think he's frozen. Anurag, are you? Okay, I think the internet must have conked off. No worries. Aditya, would you like to help me over here?
Yeah, sure.
Or can you tell me briefly about the project and what was it all about?
I think he's back.
He's back. Anurag, are you back? No.
Okay. Okay. So basically,
He's back.
yeah, you are audible. If you can just unmute once. Yeah,
Yeah.
great.
Can you hear us?
Yes. Sorry, I got disconnected because of
No
that.
worries. No worries. So I
So,
was just asking, can you tell us briefly about this project, your study? What was it all about?
yes, so the as you mentioned and as Aditya also mentioned, it was about a need analysis, and particularly how can we empower the students in Dera Baba Nanak, especially the students who are from who go to government schools, and how can we empower them? Okay, and when I say empower them, we are looking into what kind of skills can we provide them such that they are more equipped to get the job opportunities, right? So that is what we were doing it. And yeah, so this is in brief about the project that we were doing. Yeah.
Fair enough. All right. Aditya, tell me, what methodology did you guys apply while you were conducting the study?
Okay, so in a textbook wordage, if I say we apply design thinking, but if I take you to a very core basic of design thinking is understanding the problem first. So what happens is you don't directly come to solutions, but you try to understand problem in all its essence. So to do that, what we did is we went across to get insights from what all possible ways we can. So we interacted with various stakeholders, not just just taking a survey of girls, just students won't help us. So we went across and interviewed students, teachers from our school, and also maybe tuition teachers. We went across and interviewed some of the ITI, the Institute of I think ITIs are the Institute for Training purposes, which have for vocational skills, right? Then there are PMKVY Yojana associated organizations which run the government schemes. So we wanted to understand the whole aspect of what is happening in this sector, like in the skill development, what are actions are being taken by government, by school, and by household. Like even we interviewed certain parents to understand their perspective. If there is challenge with student, why or how parents are not able to help or they are helping. So I think that was kind of methodology taken, was speaking to each and every stakeholder. Then when you speak to so many people, you get an understanding that this is a you list down certain problems which we had, and then you try to understand which is the one core major problem which we should target, and try to get the solution. Because there are certain 2 3 problems, if you target those, automatically the other 5 6 7 odd problems would solve together. So in that context, I think if I explain my methodology, this would be speaking, observing, understanding, and then trying to think about the uh, defining the problem and then going to the solution.
Got it. Got it. So tell me, Anurag, when you spoke to all these various people, especially the parents, the teachers, the students, what information did you gather from these all these stakeholders?
Yeah, sure. It is very some of the things that we encountered. It was very heartening to see. So let me start with mentioning what we identified with the students. Okay, student as an important stakeholder. So one of the things that we identified in Dera Baba Nanak was that about 90% of the students study in Punjabi medium from first standard to 10th standard, and only 10% study in English. Okay. Now, what happens is that these 90% students who are studying in Punjabi medium, they end up taking arts in +1 and +2. Around 70 to 80% take arts in +1 and +2. And after that, majority of them take BA, and whoever have taken BA, around 90 to 95% of the students, they get they end up being unemployed. Okay, only 5% of the students who are doing BA get the employment. Okay, so this is the whole the vicious cycle that we saw, okay, with the students. So 90% of the Punjabi medium, 10% of English medium, and after that arts, and then getting unemployed. So that is first thing. And the second thing is some of the students they from the first standard to 10th standard, one of the common the complaint that we heard was that students rarely study at home. Okay, so it's like just going to the school, coming back, and then going to the school. That's it. Okay, so they rarely open the book at home. And also these students, we need to understand that the family background, they come from very weak section of the society, and the family, the environment, the culture, and the appropriate mentorship for the students was missing. Okay, so this is something that we identified. And if I have to talk about the parents, so the parents, uh, uh, as I mentioned, they, many of the parents come from economically weaker section of the society, and they have challenges in sending the students to the tuitions, to the good school, good facilities, etc. And the second thing with respect to parents is that um, so the qualification of the parents. So the parents are themselves, many of the parents themselves are haven't cleared 10th, right? That means many of them are below 10th, the education qualification. And one of the research says that it has a very high impact on the student. So if the parent has a good education qualification, it has a strong impact on the student. So that is something that was missing with respect to with parents. And also some of the parents, like especially the fathers, we encountered that they were into the drugs or alcohol addiction, etc. And it has a huge impact on the family, and it is very burden for the family. So these are some of the key issues with the parents. And also if we
So,
talk about,
can I just interrupt?
sure,
Before you start with the, I just want to know, did the parents seem encouraging, like go to school, study, you know, did they seem the encouraging types, or were they like, it's okay, I mean, jitna padhna hai pad lo, and itna zyada padhai karne ki nahi zarurat?
exactly. So what we encountered, it's again, it's very heartening to say that many of the like some of the students, especially for the primary school, so first to fifth standard, the parents, we heard that some of the parents send the students just to have that midday meal. Okay, and just because it is compulsory for the child to get that education, and so that is the reason they are sending. So they do not have a, they do not know the impact and the opportunity that education can provide to the student. So that is something again was very much missing. Yeah, you are right on that. Yes. Okay, and continuing with the next stakeholder, the teachers. So the teacher, one common thing that we identified was there were one teacher in for five sections. So that means, let's say from first standard to fifth standard, there was only one teacher for the primary school. And I've observed this not only in Derabamana, even in Karnataka also, some of the places which which I know. And this is what is happening. Okay, you know it is I mean, like we can imagine what what can happen there. One teacher for the five classes. Okay, and not only this, there will be a lot of admin work for that teacher. Okay, and even sometimes the midday meal, etc., they have to take care, they have to grab the groceries, etc. So this is a case. And this is the yeah, so again, so this is the missed opportunity for the students who are studying in that school. And for the teachers, one more thing which we identified was some of the, as Derababa Nanak was a border area, and some of the teachers were put from other regions. Let's say from Pathankot, the teachers were traveling to and from Derababa Nanak. So that is very far, and it takes a lot of effort, right? So this is one thing. And also some of the teachers, they did not have that kind of a drive to impact the students, not to make them learn. So this is something which we saw also was missing with some of the teachers. So this is in a whole. So as a whole, if you look into it, what I can say is there is a huge opportunity. There's a huge potential that is out there who are studying in government schools, because of the lack of opportunity, because of the lack of exposure, right? Because of the lack of facility, they are missing out on making it big or achieving great things in life. And again, as a if I look into India as a whole, and we are missing out on very vast number of potential, who can immensely contribute and making the country a better place. So this is what we identified.
That was a wonderful share, Anurag. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks.
Aditya, tell me something. So if you have to summarize, I like the way Anurag just gave the whole gist of everything. But if you have to summarize, can you tell me some of the key challenges and problems that kids in Dera Baba Nanak are facing?
Okay, so maybe taking one or two aspects from Anurag's explanation. So I think if I just put out two pointers right here,
Yeah.
like first would be lack of mentorship. So as Anurag mentioned that if there is no guidance, like people want to do science, but they don't think of becoming doctor by giving NEET. They are thinking of going to nursing school, right? So why is the doctor like NEET as an examination, as an entrance exam for they are MBBS? They are not even aware of those. So that is one aspect. So, and on similar line, on the second aspect is English and maths. Like these form the very core of any kind of competitive exam they would want to take in future. Because if you are not going through those competitive exam, you are you're not using your entire potential, and you're maybe adjusting for some lower job or some lower kind of education, right? So these both subjects form the basis. And as I think Anurag also mentioned, that science is something which people fear because it is in English in later stage. I think after 11 it's in English only, science. So that is why people are not even opting for science, just maybe because of the fear of English language. So I think if these three aspects are worked, and along with the digital aspect, like nowadays everyone is into a self-learning mode. At least if you see students in a urban setup and well-versed setup, they would be learning things on their own. And I'm not saying that is no for a rural setup, because we interacted with students. They are able to use YouTube. They know what to search and how to get there, right? But what is missing is, if they know how to search, I think what will help is if they understand the language, they will be able to grasp much more things. If they know the basic maths, they might enjoy some kind of coding. Not coding would be a very later stage, but just that aspects. The basis of foundation, if it's laid strong, I think it gives a very good passage for future expansion for their career.
All right. Thank you so much for sharing that. Anurag, can you give me, like, according to you, what do you think? Can you give me 3 projects that, according to you, the foundation should focus upon? If you have to pick up any 3.
Okay, sure. Yeah. So I'll just give a brief of some of the things that are happening, and then I'll give the solutions, and I'll also mention why these solutions might work for the foundation and for the students. So the first thing which we the vicious cycle which I mentioned, which Aditya also, I think he touched upon that, is that the majority of the people taking Punjabi medium from first standard to 10th standard, the what happens is 3 things, 3 aspects that are inhibiting students to take science right from 10th. I just want to mention that. So first thing is, the people whoever have taken in Punjabi medium from first to 10th, so they have that perception that science is anyway difficult. Okay, so first is science is difficult, and the second thing is in +1 and +2, the science is taught only in English. So that means they have an additional burden of understanding English, and on top of it, studying science. And also, as I mentioned, the family background is they come from very weaker section of the society, and they cannot afford to go to tuitions, take coaching, and take those facilities, right? Now, because of these 3 reasons, the students are taking more and more arts, and they are ending up more and more unemployed. Okay, so and the root of this goes back to the admission process in the first standard and second standard. So when the parents take their students to the school, what happens is the admins or the teacher who is head of that school in that primary school, they do not have that much of incentive for the incentive to share with the parent that hey, do enroll your child to the English medium. These are the benefits. Nobody is doing that, and at least from whatever we heard, and also um, so the thing is for them it is very easy if the majority of the students in one section, like if there is a student in who has taken English, it becomes a bit more challenging for the admin or the school authority to manage that. So this is what is happening now. So in order to break this, so we came up with three or about five recommendations, which out of which I'll mention top three recommendations that we have. So the first one is mentorship. Okay, so one of the things we identified is if a student is mentored by a person who has achieved good, right? Like let's say he or she has passed a good degree, and if that person is mentoring a child, it has a huge impact on the quality or where the child would be in the next 5 to 10 years. So it has a huge impact on the students. So this is what one of the things that we have. And the second thing is we wanted to educate the students with the math, English, and computers, as Aditya also mentioned. So now, why these three? Okay, so because when we looked into some of the statistics from Punjab, so we found out that there were about 20,000 job opportunities that were there. Only thing is they have to pass the competitive exams. Okay, so for example, one of the data that I have is that for police, right? For police, there were 4,350 vacancy in 2021. Similarly, for teaching, there were 8,000 vacancy, and army 5,000, and banking 1,200 vacancy. So these were the opportunities that are there. Only thing is the competitive exams is a barrier. Now, in this competitive exams, when we looked into what are the main elements that the target is, two things. One is English and one is math. Okay. Now, given the students are going in Punjabi medium, how can they crack the competitive exam? That is, some of the things they have to clear in English. So that is one thing. And also math is very important, and in these competitive exams, they test the basics. So that is why our intervention was to take the additional classes for the students, particularly focusing on English and math, and also the digital aspect. So when we looked into this data, there is, in 2020, by 2025, there will be 10 times more jobs will be created in digital space. So it's an opportunity. Like, are the students ready for that? And we found out that the students were not that much digitally literate. Okay, and also there were very limited resources available, computers, laptops, or even the phones. So that is why we recommend these three. Particularly to focus on English and math, and also digital literacy aspect. Okay, and and the third thing that we identified was in continuation with the second point, to provide the students with laptops, right, and materials, books and materials, such that on a rolling basis, let's say we have capacity to give 10 laptops, and they can roll out among the students, let's say for 1 month, one student, and like that, right? So what happens is they will get an opportunity to learn the computers and some of the skills that is very helpful for them for the future. So in order to summarize, so the three solutions that we recommended or we recommend is that the mentorship from the alumni of Dera Baba Nanak and people from Bedi Foundation, they taking a time out and mentoring one person, one student at a time for, let's say, 1 hour, 2 hour per week. Okay, it has a huge impact on the students. And the second solution is additional emphasis on math, English, and computer skills. And third thing is giving them the facility, especially of laptop and books and materials. These were the three interventions that we mentioned. So yeah.
So a thought just came in my mind, and I'm speaking out. I mean, I'm just going to say it. So either of you can answer. How feasible it is to do mentoring of parents? Because we can mentor a student, but it's the environment, it's the home environment that creates or breaks a child. So since you were there, so I'm just asking out of, this thought just popped up, so I'm just sharing it. How feasible do you think it is mentoring parents? Do you think that will work? Do you think the parents will be for it?
Yeah, that's a very good observation. And in fact, so the parents play a huge role in the children's development, and parents are an important stakeholder. Yes. So answering the feasibility part, I think uh, we have to look in. For me, at least, there are two things which I can see in this. So first is parents being receptible, and also the second thing is can we have that mentorship be available for the parents? Okay, like there's a demand and a supply issue. So who will mentor the parents, right? So that is something which we want to look into, and whether the parents are receptive. So in my opinion, yes, so some of the parents were receptive. Some of the parents were keen on, they want their child to make it big, and want to end up somewhere, achieve something in life. So for those parents, definitely it will help. For the parents who are not receptive, again, that is a very challenging thing. And when I look into the supply side of it, I think there are a lot of NGOs are there, and there are a lot of avenues where we can have the resourceful person come on a event, or let's say in the online medium, and they can share their thoughts and mentor the parents as well. So I think from like a bird's eye view, I can see that this can be possible. I think this is feasible. Only thing is the execution, when the parent is not that much keen on this, is a challenge. And also, if the parent is um, no, even though they receive the things, if they do not have that capability, because some of the parents, they do not have they don't have the education qualification beyond 10th, not even clear 10th. Okay,
Yeah.
so will they pass on that? So are they that resourceful to do that?
Okay, one can look into it. I just had this idea, so I thought, why not?
I think you
Because
can just, like, as Anurag mentioned, there are two types of parents, right? One who are understanding that this is some education is something helpful, right? And second aspect is they are least bothered actually, right? So I think school can be a good way, because the ones who are concerned generally speak to the school teachers and everyone, right? So school can help you give a good filter of the parents who can benefit from your such kind of mentorship. And then when this happens and they see that the parents who didn't want to enroll, or let's say be part of this kind of, they see that this is making a difference, so even they will be interested then. Maybe you start with a lot which is interested, get some changes done, and then try to get the other lot which might not be that interested. So maybe this is how it can work.
That's a good suggestion. Let's start with the ones who are interested, and we'll motivate the ones who are not. Yes. So any last minute concluding thoughts? How was your experience? Did you guys, how was it in the end when you left? Either of you.
Yeah, Anurag, you can go ahead.
Oh, okay. So for me, so the place, I really liked the place. I really loved people and interacting with people, and people were so humble, and The accommodation was good, and the and I enjoyed that place as well, the environment. So and also uh, the project itself was so much opportunity. There was so much opportunity to make the difference to the students and for that place, and I really enjoyed it. And so I am really thankful for Bedi Foundation for giving me this opportunity, and that is one of my memorable experiences in life, and I will never ever forget. And me and Aditya have together shared a lot of experiences like that in Deravanana, which we won't be forgetting. So that is very nice. Yes.
I think one aspect which even Anurag mentioned, I think the people, like when we went across schools and interview, I think the teachers are quite warm enough to offer us lunch over those discussions. So that is one aspect that the people were quite helpful, supportive on the kind of work we were doing, right? And the second aspect, if I talk about project, I think we were lucky enough to get an opportunity to do such kind of work, because maybe in a later stage of career we might not be looking at these aspects, but this is a good start to understand how things are socially, what is the reality of society. Like we might be from urban background and we might just miss out on these things happening elsewhere, right? So I think these all aspects are very important when you go ahead in future, be at any level, be at any career or business, whatever you do. I think this was a good experience to have. So yeah.
Well, it was absolutely wonderful talking to you guys. And I want to update you about what the foundation is doing after seeing your entire report. Following are the actions that the foundation has taken. One, we employed an English teacher, Sakshi Marwa, and she is now supplementing the effort of faculty and bringing up the English language standard in school. And I have to say that she's doing a wonderful job, because weekly she shares her videos with me. And the way she's teaching the kids, her creative way of teaching the kids, and the girls are picking up the language really well. So I think Sakshi is doing a wonderful job. Number two, we have established a computer room with 20 computers, and we shall be adding 10 more computers. And this is being used for Khan Academy platform teaching, which is particularly for maths. We are also in the process of employing a maths teacher right now. We have sponsored English newspapers for the school library, and these are being read by the students. We held online talks to motivate the girls to take up armed forces as a career. And we have started 3 academic achievement awards for this academic year. First is a topper for the science stream in class 12. Second is a topper of the class 10. And third is a topper in English of class 6. In addition to this, the foundation shall also be sponsoring college education fee for the needy achievers. So that's what the foundation is doing. And I want to thank you, Aditya and Anurag, for this wonderful conversation and sharing your insights with us. Before I end this conversation, I just want to tell the sponsors, the trustees, and the donors that both Aditya and Anurag wrote a detailed report, and they made a wonderful presentation about their study, and we shall be sharing that with all of you via your personal emails. And that's it for now. Thank you guys for coming on board and joining us for this.
Thank you. I think
all right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.